Okay, thanks everybody for tuning in to the website and participating in this short online lesson. We're going to build a graphical user interface video player, um, and that will be the basis for building a mixer, which is what we're going to do next class period. So make a new file and save as. Call this class 5. All right, and now first thing is we're going to want to put a jit.movie player. Sorry, just jit.movie. And go into the help file for jit.movie by option clicking on it. And then unlock this patcher, the help file patcher, and then we're just going to steal everything in this help file, except for the title and stuff up at the top. But grab all of this stuff and copy it, and we can close the help file now, and we can delete this and paste everything in. And congratulations, you now have a movie player. We're going to actually trick this out a little bit, make it a little prettier, and I'm also going to explain what all this stuff is. So, as you recall, the jit.movie you can read a file into it, and if you're sending bangs into it, it will output the frames into this jit.p window here. So let's try that. Let's just read a file real quick. Actually, first go ahead and turn on your Metro and read a file. B-ball is fine. If you couldn't find this stuff, make sure you have a shortcut over here for jitter. If you don't have a shortcut, the way you get to the sample media in the application, again, is to go to Applications, find Max 7, and right-click on that and say, whoops, I guess I have to do it in Finder. Applications, Max 7, right-click on it, Show Package Contents, and then from there go to Contents, Resources, C74, Media, and then Jitter. And then you can take this folder and drag it over here to your favorites. Then you don't have to do that every single time. Okay. So we got a movie player here. This is the jit.p window. That's what's actually displaying this video in the patcher window. Down here, this is called a jit.fps GUI, showing us what our current frames per second is. And then we have a bunch of attrui objects over here, attribute UIs. They're just telling us some information about the parameters of the jit.movie object and stuff. Alright, so let's see. First thing we're going to do to this is we're going to add a file drop object so that we can add directories and populate a menu of different files, so that we don't have to hit the read and pick a file. We can have a menu full of the files that we're going to be playing for whatever we're using this patch for, right? So to do that, let's stop this. Stop. Thank you. To do that, we need to add a new object, file drop. Is that it? File. What was it? umenu. It's in the umenu. I can't remember what the thing was called. Oh, wait, not file drop. It's drop file. Drop file. There we go. So that gives you this little, it looks like a text box, but when you drag either a file or a directory in there, it will put out the information for that file out this outlet. And we can use that to create the read messages that we need for the movie to actually play something. Go ahead and hook a message box up to this outlet. Hook it up to its right inlet. And then let's go grab a file and drop it in there. Get that out of the way. There. And you can see this is what it outputs. It outputs the information about that file, its location on the hard drive. Now we can use that to populate a umenu, which is kind of a drop-down list of files. So let's add a umenu. It's a pop-up menu. And if you open up the help for that, you can see this is kind of what we're building right here. We need to prepend prefix. Because it says right here, if you put the word prefix, prefix accepts a single argument which can be concatenated or prepared to the menu item text before the output. If prefix happens to be a valid folder path, the populate message will cause the umenu to clear and fill itself with the contents of that folder referred to. If successful, umenu will report the number of items, yada yada yada. Auto-populate, this is important. If auto-populate is set to on, entering the new prefix will automatically populate the menu if the prefix is a valid path. So this will create that valid path, and then our auto-populate will set up the umenu to automatically create a list of files that are in that directory. So close this, don't save. All we have to do is we need a message auto populate 1. That will set this umenu up to auto populate. And now we can just pass this. Oh wait, no, we needed to put prefix before this, right? Because it needs prefix and then the path. So if we want to add a term or add an argument, actually a message, if we want to add a message before a message, we can do that with an object called prepend. Prepend means whatever this message that's coming into the prepend object, we're going to add the argument before that. So if we prepend the word prefix, send this in here, okay, and then take this, the output of this prepend prefix, and send it into the right inlet of this message box again, and then drag something else in there. You'll see what it's done. So I'm dragging b-ball in there, and now it says prefix Macintosh HD yada 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 yada, right? So now it's added that word prefix beforehand. So we can send that into the umenu, and now we're sending it its path plus the word prefix, and that should work. Let's try it. So just grab this entire directory, the jitter directory, and drag it in here. And there you go. Now it's created this umenu with all of our files. Now, if we want to have the movie player use those to read a movie, all we have to do is send it out this outlet, the middle outlet, which says menu item text evaluated as message. There's 3 different outlets here. The first outlet just gives you the item number that you chose in this menu. So if we did this and we chose blading or b-ball, it would send a 0 because that's the first one, because it counts up from 0. If I chose blading, it would send a 1. If I chose, something way down here, it would send 46. That doesn't help us. That can be helpful in certain things. Depends on what you're doing. But for this case, we want to actually use the title of the movie. So we want the text. So we want this inlet. And we're going to prepend again because we need to prepend the word read for that movie player. So prepend read. And then we can send it into the movie player. Now, go ahead and choose something else, like blading. Wait a second. Blading. Why did that not work? Oh, I know I didn't work because I just connected the wrong outlet of the umenu. So it was saying read 1, and the movie player didn't understand, and so it just opened up the read dialog. So make sure you have this not in the first outlet of of the umenu, but in the second. There we go. Let's try that again. Blading. There we go. And now it wrote. Now it reads. All right, I want to point your attention to this object here. This is called a play bar. This is new in Max 7. Maybe it was in Max 6. I don't remember. But you used to have to build this kind of functionality, and then they added this nice little widget. Makes it really easy. You can, on this, you can drag in and out points to create a looping region. And then you can set this to different modes. This is regular loop. That's a palindrome loop. And that is play forward, I believe, or play backwards, maybe. Oh, play through once and don't loop. Yeah, and the loop modes are represented or echoed here on this a TrueE object that's telling you what the current loop mode is. If I click this, you can see now it's saying normal, palindrome, and off. Normal. Our looping points, this has to do with what frame of the video is the in and the out, and those are reported here under loop points. Again, here's unique 1. So if you had a 15 FPS file and you were banging it at 30 frames, you could make it only output unique frames. As you see, the FPS meter dropped down to 15 FPS there. Auto start, auto plays a movie on load, stuff like that. Let's see, what else do we want to add to this? We're going to add a jit.p, sorry, not a jit.p window, just a jit.window. Because we want to be able to have the ability to have this window external to the program and also the ability to make it full screen. So pass the output from the jit.p window here into the jit.window. Now you can see, if you move this out of the way, you can see this jit.window is getting the same video stream. We can add a parameter to this at floating 1, and now it will always be on top. It floats to the top. Okay. If we want, we can also we can make the ability to change that floating behavior. So I can have a toggle sent to a message that says floating $1. Now $1, again, that's a wildcard character. So whatever message comes into this message box will replace that wildcard. So if I send a toggle into this message box, it's going to replace this wildcard with either 0 or 1. So I can send that in there, and now I can turn off floating. So it's floating, it's not floating, and say now it's not floating. Great. Cool. Same kind of thing. Let's do the thing for full screen. We could just have a message here, full screen, $1. Another toggle. I don't know what I did, but let's try that again. Toggle. There we go. And full screen, and then into the JIT window. And now if I click this, it would make it full screen, but then it would be kind of difficult to get out of here. So we want to actually create a keyboard shortcut for toggling this full screen on and off. So if you want to do keyboard shortcuts, you need some kind of object that is watching your keyboard and reporting what key you press. And the object that does that is called key. So key object. This reports what keys are pressed. See, in the first outlet here is the ASCII code of what key is pressed. Go ahead and hook a message box up to this so we can see. And hit the escape key. We'll use the escape key. And you can see the escape key's ASCII code is 27. So let's delete that message and do a select object and do a select 27. So now when you hit escape, this is going to send a bang out this outlet, and we can send that into the toggle here. So if I hit escape, it toggles that full screen, we get it full screen. And I hit escape again, and it toggles off of full screen. So now we have a full screen system. Let's see. Probably want to put a little comment here about what this is, the drag file region. So let's put a drag file / directory here. All right, and it's pretty good. I think that's about it functionality-wise. So let's just make this pretty now. We're gonna clean this up by using presentation mode. So here, first of all, I'm going to make this. Let's just clean up some of our patch cords. Yeah, good enough. Let's see here. Let's make this nicer. Stick this stuff over here. Put this underneath it. There we go. Great. And now let's add some things to presentation. Add that to presentation. Actually, we don't need that to presentation. Let's add the read button. So let's see, I'm just selecting all the things that I want to add to presentation. The start, the stop, the play bar, the rate. That's kind of useful, I think. I probably don't need this stuff about loop points because I'm just going to rely on the graphical interface there of the play bar. This stuff, and definitely the umenu. And the FPS meter. So again, to select individual files, you can just hold down Shift and then click on what you want to add to that selection. All right, so now that I have all the things that I want to add selected, I can do Shift Command P to add to presentation and enter presentation mode. Cool. So let's make this look pretty real quick. Put this down here. I'm going to stretch it out. And we can put a read button, a start button, a stop button, a rate, the file. Let's see. I probably don't need that much room for rate. Let's shrink that over. I'm going to be able to fit all these next to each other nicely. Let's find out. Oh, so close. All right. I'll just make this a little bit wider. There. And, oh, don't forget our drag and directory stuff. And let's put some panels in here. I'm going to make this look nice. Go into the inspector. And interior color. Nice blue, purple, gradient. Cover everything up and send to back. I don't know why it does that. This happened last time when I was building this window. For whatever reason, I can't get it to go on front of that panel. Okay, let's make a new one. New JIT.P window. Now it's in front. All right, whatever. So we'll just get rid of that one. Take this one over here. Then, oh yeah, don't forget to send the matrix out of that into this JIT window down here. And now go back to the presentation mode. There we go. Now it's on top. And make it bigger. There we go. And there we go. That's our simple GUI video player, and we're going to expand on this next class. We're going to have two video players and crossfading between them to create a mixer. Alright, so thanks for tuning in to this quick short lesson, and I'll see you all on Wednesday.